The Journey of John Sojourn. There was once a young man, John Sojourn by name, who was healthy and wealthy, who had fortune and fame. But still he was restless, and he didn't know why. All of his possessions could not satisfy. Then one day, while out browsing in a quaint antique store amongst the curiosities and trinkets galore, he spied an old text, and wondering how it read, perhaps, he thought casually, I'll read it in bed. He paid the small price and tucked it away. He then began reading that very same day. It told of a city made of crystalline gold, and the pilgrims who reach there shall never grow old. A paradise indeed. There's no war, hate, or greed. There is no need for money there. Love is all that you need. There's no pain and no sorrow. No one cries nor yet grieves. And the nations are healed by its trees' healing leaves. It is ruled by a king who is loving and kind. This city, thought Sojourn, I'm determined to find. He announced his quest to his family and friends. He renounced all his wealth and its fashionable trends. Then he bade them adieu, and he donned his knapsack. From that very moment, he would never go back. He whistled a tune as he journeyed along. In his head was a vision. In his heart was a song. He hiked through lush valleys. He scaled rolling hills. He communed with God's creatures. He drank from the rills. He met fellow pilgrims on their way to that land. And together they traveled, heart and soul, hand in hand. They forged a strong bond as they traveled together. They danced and they sang, be it foul or fair weather. Soon, their fame spread abroad. The gypsy caravan, wagon wheels began turning and their journey began. Narrow was the way to their new destination. They began to gear up without hesitation. They saw mountain peaks that were laden with snow far off in the distance that reflected the glow of that beautiful kingdom. But it came with a price. They would have to brave blizzards and mountains of ice. In the back of his book were 2 tattered old maps placed in the pages, divinely perhaps, to instruct and guide pilgrims through coming tribulation, and to help them pass safely into their new nation. Now Sojourn was blessed with a light in his eyes, for he took time to study and to memorize from the yellowing pages of its magical text. So he knew how to lead others and what to do next. And he was aware that the evil Prince Grim would do all he could to make waste of him, with spells and enchantments, an old wolf in disguise, a dragon, a serpent, the father of lies. Strong wind, avalanches, and walls of sheer stone confronted them daily, yet they were never alone. They camped on mountain ledges. They slept in the caves, oftentimes being lost as though caught in a maze. Mountain men were they fighting Satan's tirades, and the women were sweet, hardy mountain maids. The higher they ventured, the harder it grew. Some pilgrims turning back said, we're finished, we're through. But Sojourn forged on, yea, his heart was steadfast. No one could persuade him to return to his past. Then finally, at last, they had conquered the Alps. They packed up their gear, and they folded their maps. We will enter the city, they cried with delight. But lo and behold, no city was in sight. Astonished and discouraged, they fell to their knees. While on the horizon, amidst the dark trees, there appeared the red dragon with his army of slaves, crying death to the pilgrims, death to the knaves. Hordes of evil creatures began to descend, shouting, finally we have them. This is their end. Then a crack from the heavens, a bright light from the sky. A figure appeared in the heavens on high, the king of the city with a heavenly host, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Then as quick as a twinkle in the apple of God's eye, the pilgrims were floating up into the sky. They flew to that city for a grand wedding feast, prepared for those who had resisted the beast. The trumpets then blasted. They all mounted white steeds. It was time for the wicked to bemoan their cruel deeds. They rode on white horses. Each wielded a sword. They came back to conquer in the name of their Lord. There'll be signs in the heavens and signs in the moon. Keep your eyes towards heaven, for our King cometh soon. January 14, 2024. Roger Fruchey.